A few years ago, I went to the beach with a friend and they had this little stall and they were selling hot cinnamon donuts with sugar. They were so delicious. We bought a packet of them. I think I ate my body weight in donuts, don't tell anyone. And I was so sick. And this was the beginning of my understanding that perhaps I had IBS, because the years prior to that I could eat pretty much anything. It wasn't long after that I was diagnosed with IBS, and no one put me onto the FODMAP diet until years later. In this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about FODMAP, what it means, and also how you can use it to the best of your ability with low cost, because not all of us have the money to go to see dietitians or specialists. So I'm going to teach you a few things about that. I'm Cheney and I worked as a registered nurse for 10 years. I had IBS for 7. And so I have done many hours of research over the years to try and understand what is this about. FODMAPs helped me enormously, and I think they'll help you too, and might even help you save some money. I'll help you in this video to learn what are some of the foods that you should avoid, specifically you, and how you can bring about a more holistic approach to your diet. FODMAP is a guide, and it's just an acronym actually. It is an adjective followed by nouns. So it is fermentable sugars. That's all it is. The O, the D, the M stand for different types of sugars. So oligosaccharides, which are a few different sugars together, disaccharides, which are 2 sugars, monosaccharides, 1 sugar, and the P, which is polyols, which is a type of alcohol, but not the fun one. They are the more scientific names, and they're a little bit boring. So let's just call them FODMAPs. If this video makes sense to you, give me the thumbs up, and you might like to click subscribe at the little blue button in the corner there. Some of these sugars, instead of being digested properly, they get into your bowel and have a party. Pumping the music, hiring out more venues, bring more water, bring more gas, and then you end up with this huge belly, bloating, constipation, diarrhea. It's not a party I would recommend. The FODMAP itself was initially discovered by some people at Monash University, and it's been extremely useful for those of us who struggle with digestive conditions, because it's helped us to specifically work out which foods in which groups are the ones that affect us the most. Here's some good news. As I mentioned, the FODMAP has different types of sugars. You may have heard of some of these sugars like lactose and fructose. If your bowel is only irritated by 1 or 2 of these types of sugars and you learn what they are, then you can cut them out and you're likely to have far less symptoms with your IBS. Woo! For example, if you find that after you've eaten a whole lot of apples, you get bloating or gas or some of the other delightful symptoms that come from IBS, there's probably a good chance that you have an irritability to fructose. So you may well have that reaction if you eat figs or mangoes or honey. And once you've worked out that category of fructose, that's the thing that bothers you, then you can move them out of your diet. And maybe the other types of sugars in the FODMAP won't react with you at all. Good news, right? If this is making sense to you and giving you a little bit of hope, just write winning in the comments section. Tell me a little bit about you. I'd love to hear your stories. For a few weeks, what you need to do is cut out FODMAPs completely from your life. Let them go. And this will give your bacteria in your gut a chance to rebalance. Often if you've been living with IBS for a long time, the good and bad bacteria in your gut are a little bit out of whack, and you want the bad bacteria to reduce and the good bacteria to take over. Then, after a few weeks of no FODMAPs in your diet, you can start to reintroduce one of the categories of sugars. So for example, you might reintroduce lactose. You might have some yogurt or some cheese or some milk and see what happens. If your body's fine, then lactose is not the sugar that's the problem for you. If you start to get your symptoms back again, maybe lactose is one of the things that was causing you trouble in the first place. And if you're fine with that column of sugars, then you can move forward to the next stage, which might be fructose. So you might add pears or apples or figs or one of the many fructose containing foods and see what happens. And that's the basics of an elimination diet. I find it quite funny that it's called the elimination process, considering we're talking about eliminating, but maybe it's just punny to me. And although it's difficult and 3 weeks seems like a long time, you think about the span of your lifetime, how long you've been living with these symptoms, 3 weeks is not very long. It's so worth it if you can work out the sugars that are affecting you and fermenting and having a party in your gut. Now for a word of warning. FODMAP is not a lifetime diet. It's really only a temporary diet to work out what it is that you need to change in the foods that you put into your belly. It is really amazing and it worked so well for me. I stayed on FODMAP for far too long because nobody told me that it was only a temporary diet. The FODMAP diet doesn't really contain very much fibre and you're not necessarily getting all the nutrients that you require, so it's not good to stay on it for a long time. But as a diagnostic tool, it is excellent. And just for a little word of encouragement, dealing with digestive trouble is really hard. It's really tough. So well done you for watching this video and for trying to make an improvement in your life. Digestive problems can really affect your mental health. So just notice if things are getting a little bit more difficult while you're on this new diet. You might need to reach out to somebody for some support, or if you know someone else who is struggling with the same symptoms, maybe you can go on the FODMAP elimination diet together. The good thing is that because your gut is like your second brain, when you do work out the things that are beneficial for your body and the things that are not so good, once you find that balance again, the chances are that your mental health will improve as well. Just before I go, 3 things that might help you with your elimination diet. You might like to download a PDF from the internet of all the different foods and in what categories they are, so you can start doing your elimination process. There are some really great apps as well, some free ones and some that cost a little bit more that have more information on them. And I know for some people it's been really helpful for them to keep a journal or a diary of the foods that went well and the foods that didn't and how they were feeling and what their mood was like and all that sort of thing. I post a video every Friday. I'm super keen on helping people with their health, their lifestyle, their relationships, and giving back some of the information that I have learnt over my years of research and study. Let me know about some questions that you have. Remain curious, keep researching, and don't be afraid to ask for some help. Thanks for dropping by. Give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and all the best. I'm Cheney from Sydney in Australia. I'll see you next time. Bye.